What's going on, everybody? This is Manny. Welcome to episode number 8 of Mondays with Manny. Here with me is Chris Ashton, good friend, business owner of Enlighten Dog Training. What's going on, Chris?
Howdy, howdy. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing all right, guys. I just wanted to give Chris a chance to introduce himself to all of you. Chris, do you want to tell them a little bit about your background, how you got started, what you're currently doing with your business? I see you're in front of some Christmas trees there. What's going on over there?
Yeah, you might hear some baby sheep in the back and some of our customers, but I'm sitting right now in our Christmas tree farm out here in Cherry Valley. We live on a little ranch out here in Cherry Valley, and we just love it. We got about 300 Christmas trees that we'll be selling. And this is our little side business that we do on top of our dog training. During the winter, sometimes it gets a little bit slow, so we decided to do a little farming and sell some Christmas trees. Other than that, we run a dog training business the rest of the year, where we train close to about 1,000 dogs, running everything from group classes, behavior modification, working with you, doing workshops, and all sorts of fun stuff.
And how long have you been doing that?
We're coming on to our 10-year mark.
Congratulations. That's a big deal.
Now, I could say I've been training dogs for a decade.
You have to be careful because you might allude to how old you are.
I know.
Why don't you tell everybody what you were doing before dog training, how you got started, a little bit of background.
Okay, so I started off doing screen printing. I owned a screen printing machine, and I would print shirts and run a graphic design business. And then I just started picking up dogs and walking them and exercising them. I had a crazy pit bull and a crazy German Shepherd that were getting in fights all the time. And I just started exercising them every day. And I was like, this is great. I'm going to be a dog exerciser. And my wife was like, no, you can't be a dog exerciser. You need to be a dog trainer. And at the time, I was like, no, I just want to deal with the dogs and not the people. And now 10 years later, it's evolved into this dog training company and a dog training center, and we've been helping multiple families with their dog issues, and I just find so much enjoyment from it now.
That's a cool story. And do you think if there were a couple of things that you learned along the way that would be helpful to somebody else who's thinking about entrepreneurship and going off on their own, what might be one or two of those things be? Some advice, if you will.
I think putting yourself around people that are very motivated and the right type of people that want to mentor you, and finding a mentorship program out there. I was very lucky to have Linda Dixon, who would be another great interview for you.
Make sure you listen to that, Linda, if you're watching.
Yeah, and take me under her wing and really mentor me for a couple of years. So finding a good mentor and someone to follow, and then not being afraid to fail too, and not being afraid to, if you think it's scary and you think it's hard, go right at it and doing your best you can, and also charging what you're worth. I've always had a hard time. I always like to be, giving everyone a great deal, but your time is money, and knowing what you're worth, and definitely charging that rate. But yeah, getting yourself around the right positive people, and just keep working hard.
I like that. I like that a lot. And so it kind of seems like you've always been an entrepreneur, with the screen printing business, and then with dog training, and now with the Christmas tree farm and the farming and all of that. Did you ever see yourself as an entrepreneur that would expand so big?
No, I went to college and was going to be a teacher. I was going to be a history teacher, and this just kind of evolved, and I've always just kind of seen different entrepreneur ideas and gigs, and by next year, this Christmas tree farm will be over 500 trees at multiple locations. It's our 5th year doing it. And my goal now with the dog training world is kind of training the trainers.
I think that's an inspiring story. If there's something that I take away from that, I might be able to share with other people, it's that you just gotta decide, right? And then you just have to keep doing stuff, right? Execution is key. If you keep doing one thing after another. Sure, a lot of things might fail, but something's going to hit, right? And then you keep running with that and you recreate that, and then people start to notice, right? So not just like you said, not being afraid to fail. Another spin-off of that, I think, would be don't be afraid to try something, right? So many people just get stuck with talking about ideas and things, right? But there comes to a point where you just have to make a decision and go, right?
Do it. Yep.
Yeah. Um, Another thing that I wanted to talk about is I know you have a certain level of involvement with the was it the Redlands Animal Control, right?
Yes, I'm a volunteer ranger for the Redlands Police Department, and I'm basically a citizen volunteer. I'm in uniform. I look like a sheriff, and I've now got to the point where I patrol with animal control. I help them out in the field. I do a lot of assessments of their dogs and dealing with all sorts of different emergency situations out there. Yeah, and that's something I do about 10 hours a week. That really is a big passion of mine.
Yeah, I bring it up because I think it would be something that's really valuable to share with people. You know, you see a lot of things out in the field, different types of emergency situations. Um, why don't you, maybe without going into great detail, why don't you share with us something that you've come across out in the field as far as an emergency situation, how you handled that, and maybe a couple of tips for canine parents to be able to be prepared for themselves for a possible emergency, you know, out and about.
Okay, I got two of them that come to mind. One would be like out on the trail or out walking your dog. Sometimes we get out walking our dog or we get out on the trail and maybe a nail is cut and is bleeding, or maybe the dog gets a little cut. The big thing to always have on you is your first aid kit, okay? Whether that be in a fanny pack or a backpack. And I have a first aid kit for on the trail, and I have a first aid kit for in my car, okay? There was one call that I went to because animal control called me and I was in my civilian vehicle that I went to that a dog got hit by a car. And I put a tourniquet on that dog, stopped the bleeding, everything that you can learn in your CPR class with us. And
Chris teaches CPR class. Make sure you check it out, enlightendogs.com.
you know, and having that first aid kit made me feel so much more comfortable, made me feel that so much more prepared that I was ready to do what I needed to do. Out on the trail, my first aid kit has saved me many a times with my big old German Shepherd, about 100 pounds, that maybe got a little nail bleeding or nicked himself on something, where I was able to put some blood stop on there and be able to stop the bleeding, so I have to carry this big old dog to the car. Okay.
Wow.
Blankets and sheets are a great thing to have also when hiking or in your car, because I've picked up many injured dogs wrapped up in a blanket or wrapped up, kind of creating a gurney style, and it's a lot easier to transport them that way. So that's another little tip that I like to share with
It
people.
would be a lot safer than trying to put your hands on the animal or close to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Those would be the two big ones. Having that first aid kit on you is wonderful, and you know, you could Google first aid kits. There's lots of them out there. I like to have in my first aid kit stuff for humans and stuff for dogs. Benadryl is a big one that I always keep in there. It's a good, you know, thing for allergic reactions for all sorts of different things like bee stings, snake bites, spider bites. Benadryl is just amazing to slow that reaction down and be able to get you off the trail or
buy
on
you a
your way.
little bit of time. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, those would be my tips for CPR and what I've seen and dealt with out there.
Yeah, I think a big takeaway from that is, you know, before going out and hitting the trail or doing whatever activity that you're going to plan to do with your dog, take a little bit of time beforehand and think about having some basic essentials and equipment just in case. You know, I like to
Yep.
tell people all the time, it's better to have the extra equipment and not need it than to need it all of a sudden and not have it, not be prepared right.
Yeah. One thing with dog walking around on the trail is always keep an extra leash with me. There's so many times I've leashed up an off-leash dog, or I've used a extra leash for, you know, a muzzle wrap or helping with a tourniquet. An extra leash, and I keep it on my body. It could be also used as a defensive tool, if you need to. But an extra leash can go a mile.
Yeah, I think that's great. That's really valuable. So, you guys, I just wanted to make sure you understand how knowledgeable this man here is right now. Chris and I have been friends for many years, and he has a wealth of knowledge in a lot of different areas. Like I said earlier, enlightendogs.com. You'll be able to learn about basic dog training, behavior modification, as we discussed today, emergency care, and small business tips, all of the above. So make sure you check out not just the website, but also your social media handle is?
Enlighten Dog Training. That's our Facebook page. Yep. And then we got an Instagram one as well. There's also Ashton's Enlighten Ranch, which has our farm animals, has all sorts of fun farm pictures, and talks a little bit about our Christmas tree farm. One thing I got to show you, if we can here, that's hiding behind me. Can you see these my little friends here? The mini donkeys?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Lily and Mama Donkey. Very sweet. This is what type of fun stuff that we got going on here at the ranch.
So normally they're at the larger end of the property, protecting.
Yeah, look, they run the back acre, but today they're up getting love and getting pets from everybody.
And probably extra snacks.
Oh yeah, we're feeding them pumpkins from Halloween. Well, thanks for having me, Manny. I appreciate it.
Of course, of course. And like I said, folks, I'm Manny with Mondays with Manny, owner of Canine Parent Training LLC. This has been episode number 8, talking with Chris Ashton of Enlighten Dog Training.
Have a good one. We back? That was just an incoming call.
Sorry, the audio went a little weird for a second. I'm totally going to be including some of these bloopers in the edit.
Yep.